Well, what Apple did was they basically made it where every iPhone user would now get the choice to opt out. What that means is your creative has to be better. You can't just track people with sheer money and brute force. You actually have to attract them with the story that you're telling, with the offer.
When you first started with this in 2019, what the landscape was like compared to 5 years later now? And are you willing to speak on just how the landscape has evolved over these past 5 years?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest change has been twofold. One, Apple put together some massive privacy laws. So now Facebook and all of these other search engines and social media companies, they used to be able to track you all over the web. And what that meant is that you could essentially, if you had a big enough budget, you could brute force push your way into consumer pockets and you could get them to purchase things. And a lot of advertising, the quality of the creative didn't matter so much. It was just about getting in front of people everywhere you could. Well, what Apple did was they basically made it where every iPhone user, which is a lot of the US market, as you know, and then other companies are following suit, now gets the choice to opt out. They have to opt into that tracking, and most people don't. So what that means is you only get people on platform. So I can target you on Facebook, but if you leave Facebook, I don't really get a good idea of, like, if you haven't chosen to track your cookies, I have no idea who I'm speaking to. What that means is your creative has to be better. You can't just track people with sheer money and brute force. You actually have to attract them with the story that you're telling, with the offer. So actually, that's the biggest thing that's changed in the landscape, whether it's organic or paid, is you have to be authentic and you have to really connect with your customers.
So just a quick question on that. What you're referring to is when I first installed, say, the Facebook app, it asks me, ask app not to track. Is that what you're referring to when you say that?
That's exactly what and that has completely changed the landscape, because so many big advertising agencies, they were so used to doing things the way they were doing, and then their ad data just dropped. Their results dropped. They weren't able to get high quality results because their ads were stock photos and videos, super standard stuff. It wasn't personalized. And nowadays, consumers are so much more savvy.
That's so interesting. From what you're saying, it sounds like if my targeted individual will just, pretend it's some individual and not, a group of people, whatever they do on Facebook is still fair game. I could still target them based on the words that appear on the screen while they're on Facebook. You're saying once they leave, I don't have access to any of that data. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I guess how do you do that, where once you've lost your power of directly getting to your customers' pockets, I guess, and I know this is kind of a broad question, but I'm just curious as to what frameworks you follow in trying to put forward the best ad copy, or maybe it isn't a copy, it's just a visual, but yeah, in front of that person.
Yeah, so it's 3 components: visual, copy, and offer, okay? And we're constantly A/B testing because every community is different and every community responds to different messages differently. And so, for example, we could work with 2 dental practices that are the same size, but in different cities. And our messages might be completely different. They might resonate in a different way. So our job is to put together and essentially test a wide variety of creatives, of offers, of stories that still align with our clients' goals. And over time, we figure out what really resonates with audiences. And that's how we're able to get that to work. And the other thing is attractive marketing. When you have a good offer, something that people are interested in, they're going to willingly give you their information. And so then you don't have to follow them around the web and hope that one day you'll break them down. They're coming to you, and they're much more qualified when they come to you.
I see. And that refers to the cold customer versus warm customer idea, essentially, right? Like where you first show them your brand and you don't want them to do anything. And then in later successive targeted attempts, that's when you try to kind of bring them in. Is that the same as this, or is that something different?
Those are both. I mean, you essentially have your funnel. And so you, depending on our clients' goals, we figure out where they are. And some of our clients, they want to really maintain what they have. And if they're a more mature business, it's making sure that their current clients are coming back and that they're spending more, right? And they always want a new influx. But if you're a more mature business, you're really wanting to up the quality of your current client.
Interesting.
Whereas if you're a newer business, it's like, I got to get people in the door. I don't even know what my ideal person looks like yet because I haven't had enough to figure that out. So we employ different strategies depending on the size of your business and the stage of your business.